people. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. What? I did a video earlier. I was looking at my shirt. I didn't realize this white stuff ain't on my shirt. I didn't even realize. I was like, what the? Anyway, probably spill some tea on my shirt. But anyway, look. Xbox console bans means this. PlayStation user base gets bigger. I'm gonna say this again. Xbox console bans means that PlayStation user base gets bigger. Okay? Look. In the world that we call Earth, right? In the world, right? We have different court systems, right? We got Supreme Court, Municipal Court, Federal Court, and we got municipal courts, right? In the court systems, right? So we have judges, right? And judges, you have to respect them. That's number one, right? But at the same time, judges, they issue out, they pass rules and laws of the land, right? But they also execute judgment, right? And when a judge execute a judgment, they communicate with the person based on the situation that they're in, or the law that they break, or the crime that they do. The judge communicate with that person and said, okay, since you did this, you might get a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? He communicates with that person, and that's it's discipline, but that's to readjust, the person's thinking, right? And it's out of love why the judges are doing that, right? When it comes to Xbox now, Microsoft has a problem. And it's the enforcement team. Why? Because they don't communicate with anybody. They don't talk to anybody physically or verbally, right? Xbox, on the Xbox enforcement team, Xbox page, they suspend you, right? But they don't communicate with you. They don't tell you how many days or how many weeks you are suspended, right? Not only that, they give you a yellow handshake, right? You don't know what the yellow handshake means, right? And how many days you're suspended for. They give you a red handshake, and they don't tell you how many days you're suspended for with the red handshake. And then they give you the one with the javelin and the hammer, right? And you don't know what that means or what it stands for or how many days you're suspended, right? So the Xbox enforcement team now, they give some people a permanent ban, and the permanent ban is based on assumptions, because there are people that are suspended with their Xboxes that never hacked Microsoft network ever. They're just playing the game regularly. And the Xbox enforcement team suspend them. So now their Xbox, it sits there like a brick, and you can't use it. It just sits there. So what that does now is put pressure on you now to go out and buy a new Xbox. And might I tell you, these Xbox One consoles, they're not cheap. They're expensive. Before the pandemic started, right? The Xbox One consoles were cheap. But once the pandemic came out, and then the Xbox Series X and PS5 came out, the Xbox Ones, they become expensive, especially if it's a collector's one, or they put a solid state hard drive in it. These Xbox consoles are not cheap. So the Xbox enforcement team put pressure on you, right, for you to buy a new console so you can get back on their network to play. Need I tell you, you never hacked their network, you never broke it, you never You never broke one of their networking protocols. They're banning you on assumptions. Okay, and these, like I said, these consoles, they're expensive. So you go a week, right? You're banned. 2 weeks, you're banned. 3 weeks, you're banned. 4 weeks, you're banned. That's a month. 5 weeks, you're still banned. 6 weeks, you're still permanently banned. 7 weeks, you're still banned. 8 weeks, you're still banned. 2 months, you're banned now, right? Right? It goes into 3 months, you're still banned. The Xbox enforcement team don't communicate with anyone. They base their bans on assumptions. And what they do too is if, let's say you're playing online, right? And you get into an argument with someone, right? Someone else start the argument, right? What they'll do is suspend you first and let the other person play. Okay? And they'll give you a red handshake, and then you just sit there and you can't play. And not only that, they want to keep your gamer tag and then force you to come up with a new email and a new address and a new console. That is what you call a scam. See, a judge out there in the real world, they communicate with people. They talk to people. They let people know they let people know about the consequences of the things that they do, but they also give them a certain time limit to when they got to serve the time for the wrong that they do or whatever that they do, right? The Xbox enforcement team don't do that. So a person that's suspended now, right, and they never really broke the rules, they're not gonna sit there like a month, like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. So what they're gonna do is like, okay, really? Oh, you people don't care about your user base? Is this what this is? They're gonna go out and buy a PlayStation, never mess with Xbox again. So every time Xbox bans someone from their network, PlayStation gains that person, and the PlayStation user base, it gets bigger. If Xbox bans 50 people, PlayStation earns 50. And Xbox bans 500,000 or 100,000 people or 300,000 or 200, PlayStation gets those people. So what Xbox bans does is increase the PlayStation user base, because the person that you suspended, you never put a time limit on their suspension. You never communicated with them. They're just banned, and now you're forcing them to buy a new console. And what if they don't have the money to buy a new console? They never hacked your network, but you still suspend them. So now you're telling them that they can't use their console that they got banned from. That person is not going to buy a new console. They're gonna sit. They're gonna think it through and say, okay, really? I'm not gonna mess with Xbox no more. And then they're gonna go to Sony, and then Sony gets them. Okay. So yeah, when a person gets banned from Xbox, it means that PlayStation user base gets bigger, and you don't communicate to people like what Xbox enforcement team does is that they don't communicate with people and tell them how long they are suspended for, whether it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and that needs to be addressed. You can't just suspend someone based on assumptions. And not only that, the Xbox enforcement team will take a list of stuff and then attach it to your name and say, okay, you're doing this, right? You might be playing with, like, say, 6 people or 12 people or whatever in an online multiplayer game. The people that you're playing with, they're hacking the game. You never met them. You never talked to them. But the Xbox enforcement team will take what the hackers do and place it on you. And then now you're stuck. And then now you're banned for something that you never do. Okay? And not only that, the Xbox enforcement team now is banning you on what you say, because If you get into an argument with somebody on Xbox Live, they automatically ban you. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that you said wrong, your suspension should be no longer, I would say 2 weeks to a month. Tops. 2 weeks to a month. But if it goes over a month, just because of something you said, then you're going to lose that person. Because that person is like, okay, really, I was banned for a month. It went into 2 months, 3 months. You didn't communicate with me and say, okay, you know what? You can come back. You can now come back on Xbox Live and play our game and play on our network. You didn't even tell the person that. The person's just sitting out there in limbo, not knowing how long they're suspended for, not knowing how long they're supposedly banned for, and just because you put ban permanent, what does permanent mean? What does it mean? Is it permanent for a month, permanent for 2 months, 3 months, or is it permanent forever? What does permanent mean? And when you ban somebody in video games, and that's what they need to address, because you have banned a lot of people on Xbox. They probably were just arguing online, right? And you gave them a permanent ban, but you didn't put a time limit on that ban and say, okay, you know what? We're gonna ban you for 2 months because, or a month or 2 months or 3 months. We're gonna ban you for 2 months because you use this type of word or this type of language, and then, you know what I'm saying, that we're trying to, like, we don't want those type of words used on our network. If they would have done that, gaming on Xbox would be better, okay? But since they don't do that, they don't open a line of communication. The person that's suspended, they're gonna be like, really? So you don't care about your user base? All you care about is your sales numbers? Well, tell you what, I'm gonna get a PlayStation, and I'm going over to Sony, and I'm not coming back to Xbox. So every time Xbox now they ban someone, the PlayStation user base, it gets bigger. Okay? There's plenty of people that's been banned on Xbox for something minor that they said. And the Xbox enforcement team did not tell the person, like, okay, since you said this, you are banned for a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. They never said that. They just said permanent. And then basically now your Xbox now, it sits there like a brick. You can't use it. Not only that, they don't even let you keep your gamer tag on your gamer tag, your email address. They don't even let that. They don't even let you keep your gamer tag on your name. They want you now to come up with a new username, a new email address. And that part is wrong, because you should let the person keep their email address and their gamer tag, because they have a lot of friends and a lot of communication between those friends. So, you know, the Xbox enforcement team now really needs to fix this. So every time they ban someone now, PlayStation reaps the benefit. Yeah, they ban to keep they also ban people to keep their sales numbers moving. But the flip side to that now is that when they ban somebody and they don't communicate with anybody, it makes the PlayStation user base gets bigger. And that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're like, you know what, enough of this. I just spent money on my Xbox, and you took over my console, and I can't play my games offline. What? I'm suspended, right? From online. I'm suspended, right? You're suspended from online, right? Let's say you're suspended from online, right? But online and offline are two different things. So you should be able to play your games offline on Xbox One, right? They won't even let you do that. They take over the entire console now, and then that puts you in a jam now, put pressure on you now to come up with a new Xbox. And these Xbox One, man, they cost money, man. I have seen Xbox Ones for, like, what? We're in the Xbox Series X and S, right? And I've seen Xbox Ones for like 400, 500, 600, even 700, depending on the brand that you get. I mean, depending on the model of Xbox One that you get. I'm saying, so if they need to fix that. They should let you, if you get banned on Xbox One, you should be able to use the same username and play your games offline. They don't let you do that. So now a person that gets banned from Xbox now, right? Yeah, they're upset. Yeah, they're angry about it at the same time. But guess what they're going to do now? They're going to buy themselves a PlayStation. And PlayStation user base gets bigger. A person like, really? Really? You're not communicating with me at all? Nothing? You're not letting me know the time limit for how long I'm suspended for? Not even that? A person is going to get an Xbox. Get a PlayStation, and they will never mess with Xbox no more. Okay? And every time someone gets banned on Xbox, whether it's big or small, that person will never go back to Xbox again. So yeah, the Xbox, every time Xbox bans someone, it makes the PlayStation user base gets bigger. And that's truth. You know? That's truth. And the reason why the person left Xbox and never went back is because the enforcement team never properly communicated with that person and let that person know, okay, you are suspended or you are banned from playing online for this amount of days and weeks. They never even do that. Okay? And because if a judge in the real world let you know, a judge in the real world let you know, whether it's Superior Court, Municipal Court, Federal Court, okay, Supreme Court, they communicate with you and let you know how long you are suspended for or banned for, right? Whether the punishment is big or small, they let you know. The Xbox enforcement team don't let you know. So now you're just sitting out there now in limbo now with a banned console, and you can't even use the thing offline. Okay, and that's bad. It's one thing when you ban somebody online. That's online because online means that you get access to the world and everybody else. But offline now, you're to yourself. You know what I'm saying? They ban you both offline and online on Xbox One, and you probably got games that you can play offline for the time being until your suspension is over. They won't let you play on it, so now you're just sitting there, and your Xbox One, it just sits there, and it's like, it sits there like a brick, and it collects dust, and dust, and dust, and dust, and dust, and you can't use it. You can't even watch a movie offline. That's how bad the suspension is, man. Okay, so, and not only that, they play they target not only that, the Xbox enforcement team now, they target you based on the color of your avatar. I kid you not. They target you now based on the color of your avatar. Okay? And I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say this. If your avatar is black, then your suspension is longer. I'm saying it because that's a true that is facts. If your avatar is black, your suspension is longer. Not only that, they will put you in a permanent ban for something you didn't even do, and they'll make up something and attach a whole slew of stuff that they say you broke that you never did personally. Yeah, that's the Xbox enforcement team for you. So yeah, they don't communicate with anybody. And what Xbox bans now really means now is that PlayStation user base gets bigger, and Sony is loving it. Okay? Every time somebody gets banned on Xbox and the Xbox enforcement team don't communicate with them and let them know how many days they are banned for, when the Xbox enforcement team doesn't do that part, right? Because when a judge in the real world tells a person like, okay, you're gonna do some time in jail for this amount of this amount of months, days, or weeks, or years, right? It's called love. Discipline is love, right? Discipline is love. The Xbox enforcement team don't do that. They just left you out to hang high and dry. And what they do, they keep your Xbox. Okay? And now, so now you're sitting there going on 1 month, you're sitting there going 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. The Xbox enforcement team don't talk to you. So now you're like, really? Really? So you really don't care about your users, huh? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a PlayStation, and I will never mess with you again. Period. End of story. And that's what a lot of users on Xbox are doing now. You know what I'm saying? If they can't play their Xbox One offline, they cut Microsoft off for good. They cut Xbox off for good. And they go get them a PlayStation. And that's the end of that. Okay? So what an Xbox console ban means, it means that PlayStation user base gets bigger. That's what it really means. Okay? So when Xbox, when they're having their little board meetings and they're looking at their numbers and something is not adding up, they're like, we bought all these studios. We're making all these big AAA games, but we're not seeing the fruitage of our labor. And then and little did they know that their enforcement team is creating a problem by not communicating with people. People are deciding like, okay, that's how you play it? Really? This is how you treat people? Okay, fine. We're not messing with Xbox no more. Okay? Because then Microsoft will realize that their user base are dropping because of that. One day it will hit them. But what it means that whenever somebody gets banned on Xbox, it means that PlayStation user base gets bigger and bigger. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Let me know your thoughts and opinion. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Dark side. I'm gone. Peace.